Welcome to Just a Minute. Thank you. Hello. My name is Nicholas Parsons, and as the Minute Waltz fades away, once more it's my huge pleasure to welcome our many listeners, not only in this country, but around the world, and also to welcome to the... Thank you very much. To welcome to the program for exciting, talented performers who are going to show their skill with words and language as they try and speak on a subject that I give them. And they try and do that without hesitation, repetition, or deviation. And those four talented people are seated on my right, Tony Hawks and Josie Lawrence, and seated on my left, Gyles Brandreth and Angela Barnes. Please welcome all four of them. Beside me is Hayley Sterling, who's going to help me with the score. She's got a stopwatch here, and she will blow the whistle when the 60 seconds have elapsed. And we begin the show with Gyles Brandreth. Gyles, Life on Mars. I don't know whether you've got any theories about it, but talk on the subject in this game, if you can, starting now.
Life on Mars. It's been a wonderful life on Mars for me, a nutritional diet that has sustained me since the 1950s. Originally conceived, I think, in 31 or 2 by Forrest Mars, a confectioner who created the bar that gives me the nutrition I need. Fat, carbohydrate, protein...
Tony Challenge.
Carbohydrate.
It's a hybrid. It's something that's a bit different.
You'll now talk for a minute to try and get out of the challenge.
Yeah, I
deviation,
think, Tony, I think it was a slight
language.
deviation from the facts of what he was trying to digest. I don't know. It sounded disgusting, actually. Tony, you have a correct challenge. You get a point for that. You take over the subject. There are 36 seconds available. Life on Mars starting now.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair. But her mommy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go. But her face is nowhere to be seen as she walks through her sunken dream to the place with the clearest view. And she's happy to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. It's their life.
So Tony Hawks was in singing with some help from Josie Lawrence, by the way, when the whistle went, and gained that extra point for speaking or singing when the whistle went. I don't know where it fitted in with Life on Mars, but that's maybe me.
Did you think I just started randomly singing and everybody just let me go?
They enjoyed your singing so much they let you go. And you went.
Thank you.
And you're the only one who got any points at the end of the round. And Angela Barnes would like you to begin the second round, and the subject is Hawaii. Hawaii. 60 seconds if you need it, starting now.
Hawaii is the final state to join the United States of America, I believe, number 50. It is a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean, an archipelago, if you will. I am vastly running out of things that I know about Hawaii, except I like what they do with pizza. Some people don't like pineapple on said Italian.
A Gyles challenge.
A repetition of like.
Ah, yes, indeed. So, Angela, you haven't played as much as the others, and you repeated like. And Gyles came in first. He gets a point for a correct challenge. You take over the subject, Gyles, and there are 41 seconds available. Hawaii, starting now.
I think the most remarkable thing you can say about Hawaii...
Tony challenge.
He can't sing.
Tony, we enjoyed the interruption so much. I'm going to give you a bonus point because of the way they laughed. But Gyles, you weren't interrupted. So you get a point for that, and you keep the subject of Hawaii with 36 seconds to go, starting now.
What is extraordinary about Hawaii is that the flag for this particular state contains the Union Jack. It is the only one of the American parts of the country that actually features our ancient ensign. There it is on their emblem. Completely extraordinary, and yet, because it was a...
Josie Chan.
Well, a bit of a hesitation there.
Yeah.
Because...
There's a benefit of the doubt, I think, Josie, there, because we'd love to hear from you. And
Yes, I know a lot about Hawaii.
15 seconds available. That's quite enough if you don't know much. Hawaii, Josie, starting now.
A mate of mine lives in Hawaii, actually, and you know what they've got over there, which I think is extraordinary? Different colours for the beaches. They've got like red, blue, even green sand. I suppose it's because of the
So Josie Lyons was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point for doing so, and she's now equal with Gyles Brandreth in second place. Tony Hawks is in the lead. And Josie, it's your turn to begin. The subject, my winter wardrobe. Tell us something about that in this game, if you can, starting now.
When the weather starts to get cold, I go up into my bedroom and open my wardrobe, take out all the flimsy, gorgeous, silky summer tops, clean them, put them in vacuum-sealed bags on top of the wardrobe, and then replace...
Oh, wait a minute, Gyles, challenge.
Oh, Gyles, schoolboy error.
Oh, yes, I think you...
Deviation, I've been to this room.
No. Tell the truth.
You thought-
I know
Truth
you're
is,
a
I thought
politician,
she'd
but tell the truth.
I'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
I always tell the truth.
Except in this game.
I thought she'd repeated wardrobe, but of course it's her winter wardrobe.
And it's on the subject is on the
Yeah,
card. Yes,
exactly.
I thought that's what you'd done as well.
Yeah,
But
we all
you-
thought that, including me.
So an incorrect challenge.
Yeah.
43 seconds are still available, Josie. And you've got a point for an incorrect challenge. My winter wardrobe starting now.
I am so very organised. What I've just said is the lie. My winter wardrobe is the same as all the other seasons. All my clothes are bunged together, and what I do is just pull the jumpers forward and push the T-shirts back. The bikinis go to the bottom drawer, and out come my Hug boots. Now, last time when I opened my winter wardrobe, I had a moth.
Tony, you challenge.
Repetition of opened.
Oh, yes, you opened the drawer, didn't
she
you,
opened them before, didn't she?
Well, listen, Tony. And you've got 18 seconds. And another point, of course. My winter wardrobe is with you, Tony Hawks, starting now.
Every November, the removal men come round and remove my summer.
Gyles.
I've done it again. I've done it again. I'm sorry, I just forgot the beta blockers this morning. I'm just trigger happy. I'm just sort of going berserk here. It's all, I mean, oh dear. I mean, I'm having more fun than you because I'm already on drugs, but I mean, even so.
Calm down, please.
Yeah, well, I will. And you won't hear from me again for the rest of the programme.
No, we'd like to hear from him again, but that was remove and removal.
Yeah, of
which
course
I
it
think
was. I see that. I know that.
12 seconds for you, Tony. It's still with you. My winter wardrobe starting now.
They carry down the winter wardrobe and replace it with a summer wardrobe, which is much nicer, but also a foolish thing to do given that the winter is just coming up.
So Tony Hawks was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point, and he's in a strong lead at the end of the round, and he also begins the next round. Tony, something we all know about, brunch. Tell us something about brunch in this game starting now.
It's not breakfast, nor is it lunch. It's brunch. And it's brilliant to have new things beginning with the letters B-R. Just look how well Brexit has gone.
Deviation, it's not a new thing. The word brunch was coined in 1897.
I didn't
So
say
what's
that
that
it
got to
was...
do with what he
I'm
said?
sorry. He's saying it's wonderful to have new things beginning with the letter B-R.
Yes, he was about to give us some.
No, he's illustrating it by saying brunch is a new thing. It isn't a new thing. He implied that it was.
I'm sorry, John, I didn't interpret it that way. I thought he was saying it's nice to have new things, and he was going to give us some new things.
Yeah.
He didn't.
No, he was ending the previous paragraph and coming on then to liken it to...
Can I just say, Gyles, for someone who said they didn't want to be heard for the rest of the show...
But given Radio 4's commitment to the mission to explain, I feel that we do need to know that he's using literally a Victorian word and trying to imply it's there's something new about it.
And you're using words to try and deceive us all.
Nicholas.
And you're doing it very effectively. Yeah, Giles, I see your point, and I give you credit for that. I will give the benefit of the doubt to Tony. And if I can redress it later, I will give it to you.
It's very
Tony,
decent.
an incorrect challenge. You have a point. You have brunch, and there are 45 seconds available starting now.
Those listening at home might be interested to know that this recording is taking place at lunchtime to a group of people in the audience who clearly have nothing to do in their lives. But we at 11:30 gather and have brunch. It's quite exciting, and that's why we're all performing so brilliantly for you today, because the British Broadcasting Corporation supply us with excellent food.
And a challenge.
They didn't supply me with any excellent food.
No, they don't
It's
supply
done on
us
the
with
same basis as the salaries. The men get the food and the women.
A bonus point for Gyles for that comment there. So I've redressed the balance now, Gyles.
Thank you.
I agree with you with that because a correct challenge. And you have 22 seconds, Angela, on brunch starting now.
Brunch is something that millennials like to do. They get together and eat avocados smashed on a piece of toast while drinking Americano coffees and discussing how they'll never, ever be able to own a house.
Josie challenge.
Hesitation.
There was a
But it's
hesitation, I'm
true.
afraid, there. Yeah. 8 seconds, Josie, you've still got. Haven't got another point, of course. Brunch is with you, starting now.
Of course, we all know that brunch is a Victorian word, first coined in the year 1857 by Emily Brunch, who never got out.
So Josie Lawrence, speaking as the whistle when gained that extra point, she's moved forward. She's only 2 points behind Tony Hawks, who's in the lead, followed by Gyles, Brandreth and Angela Barnes. And Gyles, it's your turn to begin. Josie's just mentioned the Victorians, and this is actually the next subject. The Victorians. Tell us something about them in this game, starting now.
The Victorians did so much, including giving us the word brunch. What brilliant innovators they were. I admire the Victorians beyond any other people. I despise the 21st century. I do not wish to learn another ghastly password. Take me back to the era of the Victorians. Those great men and women of empire and invention. Those remarkable literary figures. Think of Arthur Conan Doyle, Robert Louis Stevenson, J.M. Barrie, great Victorians who created characters that live with us still. Peter Pan, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Sherlock Holmes. Victorians created them, and here they are, still conquering the world. It is extraordinary what the Victorians did. The railways, the bridges, the water closets, and the sewers. Go down Victorian sewers, and you will get...
Angela challenge.
The repetition of sewers.
Yes, you
I
did.
think so.
Victorian sewers, and you go down the sewers.
Well, I give it to you, Angela. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yes, you were going very, very well indeed, I must say. And you went for 52 seconds. Angela had a correct challenge, and there are 8 seconds, Angela, to tell us something about the Victorians starting now.
The thing I admire most about the Victorians is their dress. They wore absolutely beautiful clothes that can be seen on display.
So Angela Barnes, who then speaking as a whistle when again that extra point. She's now equal to Gyles Brandreth in 3rd place. Just ahead of her is Josie Lawrence, and just ahead of her is Tony Hawks. And Angela, we're with you to begin. The subject, a treasure hunt. I don't know whether you've been on many, but talk about them, if you can, starting now.
Treasure Hunt was a TV series on the daytime network ITV, or maybe Channel 4, I believe, in the 1980s, hosted by Kenneth Kendall, featuring the delectable Annika Rice in a helicopter. Later, Annabelle Croft doing the same thing. A pair of people, or maybe 3 of them, would be in the studio with said host, answering cryptic clues. This was before the internet, kids, ask your mum and dad. And they would have to guess where the other person I mentioned in a jumpsuit was and direct them to find some treasure in order to win the prize. This was in the 1980s, which, I mean, I've definitely said that before.
Giles, you challenge first.
A repetition of 1980s.
Yes, we had the 1980s before. So well listened, Giles. You get a point for a correct challenge. You have 14 seconds still available. A treasure hunt starting now.
I was rather excited when I was invited to go on a treasure hunt at Windsor Castle. The Queen was having a few friends round, and since one of them was unable to come, I was tipped into the group, and we were searching for Fabergé eggs. These are gorgeous items that were left.
And so, Giles Brandreth, who then speaking as a whistle went, gained the extra point. And he's equal with Josie Lawrence in second place, just ahead of Angela Barnes and just behind Tony Hawks. And Josie, it's your turn to begin. Big Ben. Tell us something about that amazing clock in this game, starting now.
All right, it's the late 1970s, and we're in the Cock and Magpies, and in he walks. Blumenich, he was big. His name was Ben. I thought he was wearing platform boots. They were all the fashion then, but no, he was just big. Ben came and said, "Would you like a drink?" And I couldn't help but think, Lord, he's big. His name was Ben. Big Ben then became my boyfriend. Wherever I took him, people would say, "Oh, he's big," and...
Giles, challenge.
Ooh, for the third time. Ooh.
Oh, Gyles!
I'm sorry.
No, he let one go, my love, but I think 3 oohs probably is repetition.
I wanted to hear more about Josie and Big Ben. I'm sure he
I'd
was
like to hear
drawn
more
to
about
her,
Big
her
Ben.
brilliant eloquence.
Yes.
You're Big Ben, aren't you?
Yes. No, he wasn't drawn to my eloquence.
Wasn't he? Okay.
But Tony, I have to interpret it. So, Giles, the correct challenge, 33 seconds available. Tell us something about Big Ben starting now.
When I was a little boy, I was brought up on Watch with Mother and adored Bill Ben.
Tony, challenge.
A while ago, he told us he was brought up on Mars bars.
I was eating a Mars bar while watching Bill Ben and Little Weed.
Can you be brought up on a television programme,
Yes,
Nicholas?
you're brought up a diet of television and a diet of good, nutritious
No, I was
chocolate
asking
bars.
Nicholas. Nicholas, can he be brought up on a television programme?
Well, I think in conversational terms, he was brought up on...
Just say yes.
I was trying to work
So
out what
much
would be the
easier.
fair thing. I think I've got to give the benefit of the doubt to you, Tony, on this one. And Giles,
Thank
if
you.
I can redress the balance, I will indeed later on.
Thank you.
Tony, a correct challenge. Big Ben, 26 seconds if you need it, starting now.
Londoners would have noticed this summer the authorities decided to cover Big Ben so that all the tourists who came over to take pictures of it weren't able to do it.
And a challenge.
That deviation, they didn't cover Big Ben, they covered St Stephen's Tower.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Angela, a lovely
Come
logical
on here
mind.
as a newbie.
I'm actually quite cross with myself about that one, but I couldn't help it.
Very good.
No, it's very good interpretation.
bell.
Clever. Because you haven't played the game as much and you're showing them up. Big Ben is with you, Angela, and there are 15 seconds only available, starting now.
Big Ben is the name of the bell that sits within St Stephen's Tower, which is currently being refurbished, I believe, or fixed in some manner. So if you wanted to hear the chimes of Big Ben right now, you would have to tune...
So Angela Barnes was speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point, and she's equal now in third place. This is only the second time. And only 1 point behind Giles Brandreth, and only 3 points behind Tony Hawks. They're all very close. And Tony, it's your turn to begin. And the subject is the library. Tell us something about the library in this game, starting now.
The library is a word taken from the Latin librarium, which means place where it's okay to give somebody a hard time for talking at more than 2 decibels. It's also a magnificent invention, in my view. They're under threat, but what wonderful places they are. You can go in for nothing, sit in the warm, read books, take videos out if you're so inclined. Internet is available there. How marvellous. I think we should protect these places with all our strength. If the government try to take any from us, let's get on the streets in the way the French do. They're very good at that. They'll do it if you change the speed limit slightly. But we tend to lie down and take it, but we won't when it comes to libraries, because this is the thing that will bring the people together. Torn asunder we might be, I'm finished.
Gyles, I challenge you, Tony.
Repetition of the word libraries in the plural, when the library is what is on the card.
On this, yeah. Oh, gosh, you do listen, don't you? The subject is the library, and you did libraries more than once. Oh, and Gyles, you've cleverly got him with 7 seconds to go. So, Tony, all that hard work and no points at all for it.
I
Unless
know,
you get back
I've
in.
won a lot of friends.
Yes. It's true.
No, I endorse every word you said, because when I was trying to get through my matriculation exams, I used to go down to the library, to the public library.
Were they around
books.
then?
Yes. It was just when the war was beginning. Wow. I'm quite old, actually.
The 7 Years' War?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Boer War. It was the last war. Anyway, beside the point, let's get on with this show. The library, Gyles, the correct challenge, 7 seconds, starting now.
The Library is the title of a horrific film made with Vincent Price and Peter Cushing in 1967.
So at the end of that round, Gyles Brandreth speaking as the whistle when gained that extra point, and he's now equal with Tony Hawks in the lead, and Angela Barnes and Josie Lyons are equal in second place, only 2 or 3 points behind. So it is very close if you're interested in the points. And Gyles, we're back with you to begin, and we've got now a quite erudite one, the Gregorian calendar.
What?
The Gregorian calendar.
Is that this one? Is that
With all your knowledge and education, I'm sure you know all about it. The Gregorian calendar starting now.
The Gregorian calendar, you swine! How could you give me such a subject as the Gregorian calendar, assuming I would know nothing about it? In fact, I do happen to know a thing or two.
Tony,
Well, repetition of no.
yes, no.
Yeah. Thinking I'd know nothing about it, but I do know something about it.
You're right.
And you were
showing
about
off.
to bore us with that, but I saved everybody.
A correct challenge, Tony. A point to you. The Gregorian calendar. And there are 48 seconds starting now.
I don't know when it happened. Gyles would have told you, but I've interrupted him. But they switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. And when they did this, they had to lose a few days. And I remember thinking, wouldn't it have been a bummer if that, when you booked your holiday, and somebody came and said, I'm afraid you can't go, my son, Tuesday's gone this week. And I would have been very disappointed had that happened to me. But it was such a long time ago, only Nicholas remembers. The Gregorian calendar...
Gyles challenge.
Apart from the insult to you, Nicholas, which I felt was a little bit cheap. Repetition.
The sort of thing you would never do.
No, repetition of the word time.
Yes, Andre, it did, yes. So the Gregorian calendar is back with you, Gyles. And another point, of course. 16 seconds available, starting now.
It was with the Gregorian calendar that the year began on the 1st of January, and all the months were established. Following that came February, and then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October...
Tony Challenge.
Too patronising.
Because of the round of applause, Tony, I will give you a bonus point because they enjoyed the interruption, but he wasn't deviating in any way. So, Gyles, you get a point, and you keep the subject, and there's only 1 second to go. The Gregorian calendar, starting now.
Gregory the 13th was such a cool quote.
And we are moving into the final round. It's a very interesting situation, point-wise, as we do. The two girls here, Angela Barnes and Josie Lyons, are both equal in second place.
Whoa.
And they're just a few points behind our two fellows, Gyles Brandreth and Tony Hawks, who are equal in the lead. They both have 10 points.
That's why they get paid more.
Angela, it happens to be your turn to begin. And the subject now, another historical one, Elizabeth I, or Elizabeth I, whichever you want to take it, starting now.
I would be lying if I said I didn't know most of the things about Elizabeth I from watching Miranda Richardson's incredible portrayal on the TV series Blackadder. What I do know is that she was referred to as the Virgin Queen because she never got any. She was the daughter of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, I believe, and was famous...
Giles challenge.
Repetition of no, then repetition of believe.
Ah, yes.
Yes, that's it. She hasn't played it quite so often, Giles. You let the first one go, very generous. But you got her on the second one, and you got the subject, and you got a point, of course. And you have 36 seconds. Elizabeth I starting now.
Elizabeth I addressed her troops at Tilbury. Although I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, I have the heart and stomach of a king, and one of England too. She said this to show how impressive she was as a female of the species, when in fact she was a man. This is not well known, but recent research makes it clear. She wore this red peruke, a wig, to make her look more masculine. I think she simply identified as a...
Tony challenge.
I think he should stop calling her she.
I was going to explain she identified as a queen despite her masculine roots.
I think you should call her he from now on,
She
please.
wasn't a man. Whenever a woman does something good, historically, they go, oh, she must have been a man. Queen Victoria. Oh, Victor.
Josie, because I admire your crusading attitude, I will give you a bonus point for what you've just said.
You must be a man.
And what was your challenge anyway, Tony?
Deviation.
No, he wasn't deviating.
All right, fair enough. Let's crack on.
So, Giles, you have another point. You have the subject. Elizabeth I starting now.
Elizabeth I was the Grayson Perry of her generation, a beautiful person in so many ways, and of course a sponsor of the arts. William Shakespeare was about in her time, and...
So let me give you now the final score. Well, Angela Barnes has only played the game once before. Came from behind and stayed behind, but she did very well. No, you got more points than last time you were here.
Oh, good.
Well done. And you were alongside Josie Lawrence, actually, in the third place. And Tony Hawks was 2 or 3 points behind Giles Brandreth. So we hear Giles, on this particular edition, you are the winner. It only remains for me to say thank you to these 4 exciting players of the game, Tony Hawks, Josie Lawrence, Angela Barnes, and Giles Brandreth. I thank Hayley Sterling, who's helped me with the score, and she's blown her whistle with such aplomb when the 60 seconds elapsed. We thank our producer, Victoria Lloyd. We're indebted to Ian Messiter, who created this amazing and fiendishly difficult game. And we're indebted to this lovely audience here in the Radio Theatre who've cheered us on our way magnificently. From me, Nicholas Parsons, and the team, goodbye, thank you, and tune in again when we take to the air and we play Just a Minute! Welcome to Just a Minute. Thank you. Hello, my name is Nicholas Parsons, and as the minute waltz fades away, once more it's my huge pleasure to welcome our many listeners, not only in this country, but around the world. And also to welcome to the programme 4 exciting, talented performers who are going to show their skill with words and language as they speak on a subject that I give them, and they try and do that without hesitation, repetition or deviation. And they are, seated on my right, Paul Merton and Jenny Eclair, and seated on my left, Fern, Britton and Gyles Brandreth. Please welcome all 4 of them. Behind me, Hayley Sterling, who's going to help me with the score, run the stopwatch for me, and blow a whistle when the 60 seconds have elapsed. And we're going to begin the show this week with Paul Merton. Here's an interesting subject, Paul. A dog's dinner. A dog's dinner's a subject, Paul. 60 seconds if you need it, starting now.
Well, I think it's a phrase that means a bit of everything, because dogs aren't particularly fussy eaters, so there could be in a dog's dinner liver, chicken, raspberries, chocolate, goose, turkey, apricots, oranges, apples, bananas, all kinds of things like that would make up a dog's dinner.
Giles, you've challenged.
Repetition of things.
Oh, yes.
Yes, all kinds of things he said at the beginning. There's no need to look smug about it. It was quite... I thought it was very shrewd of you to listen to her.
Yeah, I wasn't listening myself, so I couldn't neither confirm or deny.
Fortunately, I was, and I know that it was a repetition. So, Gyles, a correct challenge. You have a point for that, of course. You take over the subject, and there are 44 seconds still available. A dog's dinner, starting now.
As regular listeners will know, I am proud to be the owner of a delightful French poodle known by the name Fido, spelt P-H-Y-D-A-U-X. And the dog's dinner that this particular pooch prefers is vegan and continental. It adores les pommes frites avec les saucissons, beautifully cut up and served, the kind of dog's dinner that you'd have if you were going to the Folie Bergère.
Jenny, you've challenged.
Did you say your dog was vegan? And then, listen, I didn't do French at school, but saucisson, is that not a sausage? Is that not a meaty treat? A meaty treat for your vegan dog.
And how do you know your dog's vegan? It's just he's eating what you're giving him.
I think you should take that dog off that.
Yeah, exactly. Call the RSPCA.
Jenny may not know this, but at Waitrose, I hesitate to mention the name, but I must, we now have a vegan saucisson.
You feed your dog from Waitrose. No wonder there's turmoil in the country.
But rest assured, we also have another dog who's a bit of a mongrel called Downboy, and we feed him exclusively from Lidl.
Gyles, you didn't establish that when you were speaking before, so I thought Jenny's interruption and challenge was very justified and very fair. And so, Jenny, you have the benefit of the doubt. You have the subject, and there are still 19 seconds available. A dog's dinner starting now.
Going out looking like a dog's dinner is what happens when one loses control of the wardrobe and wear something outrageous. I used to work for Loose Women and get invited to all sorts of fancy do's. Once at the NTA's felled at the O2 Centre.
Hesitation, sadly.
I'm afraid there was a bit of a hesitation there before you got to...
You seem to be surprised by your own hesitation.
Do you know, I was more surprised that I ever got invited.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Paul, you've cleverly got in with 2 seconds to...
It's a shame, isn't it?
So, Paul, 2 seconds. A dog's dinner, back with you, starting now.
Every time I think of a dog's...
In this game, whoever is speaking when the whistle goes gains an extra point. It was Paul Merton. He's naturally in the lead at the end of the round. Jenny, we'd like you to begin the next round going to the cinema. Tell us something about that in this game, starting now.
I love going to the cinema. The most important thing is to book a big seat with holes in either arm for popcorn and Diet Coke. Then I like to make myself very comfortable, take shoes off, undo bra. Ideally, they should give you a cinema onesie as soon as you step into the foyer, which you can zip yourself into and cover with snacks. I went to the cinema just the other day to see The Favourite, ever so good, much funnier than you'd ever expect. But every time I go to the cinema, it reminds me of all the other trips, like when I was 5 and I saw a St. Trinian movie for the very first time. Then, watching Dr. Zhivago, a boy kissed me, got home, my mum grilled me on the plot of the film. All I could remember was Julie Christie wore a fur hat, nothing else. I can't wait to go to the...
Oh. No.
I thought I'd done it. I thought that was the minute.
Yes, in 59 seconds you've done. Jenny, as you win for 59 seconds, I will give you that bonus point anyway.
Good. Thank you. Good.
But I do have to take Paul's challenge. What was
Well, I wouldn't have challenged if I'd known it was 59 seconds, but she did say that Julie Christie in the film was only wearing a fur hat. Which, as it's a big costume picture, there's no scene where Julie Christie's only wearing a fur hat. But as I say,
It was all she could remember.
Yeah. And I was very short-sighted. I was with this boy. It's the first time boy had ever wanted to kiss me. So obviously I took my glasses off because I was very, very vain. And I couldn't see anything. So I thought, well, I might as well snog all the way through.
Jenny, I think we've heard enough about you.
Yes, I did. I've disappointed my mother yet again.
Paul, we knew what she meant by only wearing her hat. So I think we give her the benefit of the doubt, as it was so close.
Thank you.
And say that she was speaking when the whistle went. So she's now in the lead, Jenny Eclair. And,
I peaked.
And we're now with Fern Britton to begin. The subject, a pizza. Tell us something about that in this game, starting now.
1966 was the time I first tried a pizza. I was in Rimini on a package store holiday with my mother and my stepfather, and they decided to take a walk out to a gorgeous Italian market, open air, selling many leather goods. Who did that?
It's because I'm so close to you, I saw the hesitation.
You saw me take a deep breath. That's all.
Right, Gyles, I agree with you. It was a hesitation. So you get a point for a correct challenge. You take over the subject of a pizza. With 43 seconds available, starting now.
I went to the cinema the other day and found seated next to me a lady wearing a onesie with, apparently, rather a loose bosom. And she was...
Paul, you challenged?
Well, we haven't got to pizza yet.
Yeah. That's what she's eating. That's what I'm smelling. That's what I'm seeing going into her mouth.
But you didn't get to it in quick enough time, did you, really?
No, I got carried away, I agree.
You got carried away with a loose bosom.
Yeah.
And Paul gets another point, keeps the subject. 32 seconds available, a pizza starting now.
I ordered a pizza the other day, which was a bit of a dog's dinner, though. You couldn't even believe the ingredients on it. Anchovy, bananas, grapefruit, kidney, liver, chocolate. Oh, the whole thing was absolutely horrible. So I said to the chef behind the counter, I said, excuse me, I said, this is the worst...
Double I said.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes, yes, yeah.
So Jenny,
I've got just 2 seconds left.
18 seconds available. And it's with you, Jenny, having got another point. A pizza starting now.
Sadly, I cannot eat a pizza because they are usually smothered in tomato paste, a substance I am very allergic to. However, a lot of modern eateries are now putting white pizzas on their menus, which are poisonous pulp-free. Great thing about a pizza.
So Jenny Eclair... and speaking as the whistle went, getting an extra point for doing so, and has increased her lead at the end of the round. And Gyles, Brandreth, it's your turn to begin. And the subject now, an erudite one here, the Ganges. A moment or two to think about it, the Ganges, starting now.
I am in India as you speak, Nicholas. I've given up the thoughts of pizzas and now along the longest river, I believe, in the Indian subcontinent, the Ganges, also known as Ganga, because that is the name of the Hindu goddess who has given her nomenclature to this extraordinary rolling tide of water that is the most polluted in the world, sadly. I have been on a cruise along the Ganges in search of people who might be able to say that they had eaten their grandmas. I mention this because I have a book on this subject, and I want to share the origin of the title with you. It was on the Ganges I encountered a member of the Kadaba tribe of the northern part of that continent. And there these people...
Jenny, you challenged.
2 continents.
No, one was the subcontinent. The Indian subcontinent.
I withdraw. I withdraw.
Thank you.
No, he's played the game a few times before, Jenny, yes. An incorrect challenge. Gyles, you have another point. You have 8 seconds if you need it, still on the Ganges, starting now.
This particular group of people, they consumed their forebears by throwing them into the river Ganges and then eating the fish.
As the whistle went, playing it extra point for doing so, and has shot forward. He's in second place, just behind Jenny, who's ahead of Paul, Merton and Fern Britton in that order. And Paul, we're back with you to begin. My least favourite chore. Can you tell us something about my least favourite chore in this game starting now?
My least favourite chore is one that I don't really have to do, but if I was living on my own, no doubt it would be part of my daily experience. Ironing. I'm not very good at using an iron. Because it does take a certain amount of skill, there's no doubt about it, to get the pleats and the creases and all the sort of stuff that goes into shirts in the right place. And it's something I've never really understood. I suppose if I was existing on my own self, then I would...
Cleverly. From the jaws of defeat.
I wasn't aware I was in the jaws of defeat. So have you got a challenge, or are
Not
you just
anymore.
having a moment?
So, Jenny, what is your challenge?
I don't have one anymore. He changed one to oneself very cleverly.
Very clever. Yes, he's clever at the game. He's played it a few times before.
He's experienced.
So all that happens is it is an incorrect challenge.
Yeah, he gets another point.
Paul gets another point, keeps the subject. 37 seconds still available, Paul. My least favourite chore starting now.
Mucking out the horses. I can't stand doing it. The stable's always full by 8:30 in the morning when I get there. I don't know what they're feeding these animals, but I think they ought to stop. Because the absolute waste product is up to my eyes when I go in. Admittedly, I'm on my hands and knees, so that would explain why the height difference is so important. These equine creatures are extraordinarily good at converting food into waste product. And I said to...
Yes, Giles
Is that
challenge.
waste product twice?
Yes, darling, but Giles challenge first.
Did you?
I'm very happy.
Can I just
say
ask-
we're sitting so close to one another that I think we thought it at the same moment.
I think we did.
And I pressed the buzzer for you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So, Giles, very generous of you. And Fern, lovely to hear from you again.
Can I just establish something?
Yes.
Are we trying to play to win? Is that what this is?
To entertain.
Oh, that's okay then.
And win.
Oh, damn.
Fern, you ready?
Yes.
12 seconds available if you need it.
Okay.
My least favourite chore starting now.
My least favourite chore is picking up cat sick. Very often I wake up in the morning, pad downstairs with bare feet, and tread in something probably spleen-like.
So that disgusting image kept Fern going till the whistle went, gained an extra point. She has leapt forward. She's still in fourth place, but she's... I said that to get a laugh. You're only 2 points behind Giles, Brandreth and Paul Merton in that order. Jenny's 1 point ahead, and Jenny, it's your turn to begin. The subject, the Devil's Advocate. Tell us something about that subject in this game, starting now.
The Devil's Advocate is what you play when you want to create a row for absolutely no reason. A mate could say, I loved Mamma Mia too. You go, it's a useless load of commercial tripe. Even though when you watched it at the cinema, you laughed and wept throughout. Devil's Avocado, on the other hand, is what I keep getting given in. That was a joke because I had some devil's avocado this morning and they put chili flakes in it.
Paul, you challenged.
Devil's avocado.
Do you need medical attention?
Paul, you challenged. That was a correct challenge. The subject is the Devil's Advocate, and there's still 34 seconds if you need it, starting now.
The devil's advocate is somebody who decides they're going to pick an argument with you for no reason other than they wish to oppose your view. This happened to me the other day when I was walking into my tailor's, and he said to me, I don't think that double-breasted...
Giles challenge.
If Paul Merton has a tailor... Look at him. I mean... Unless he said, I want to look like a dog's dinner, can you make it happen?
Oh, I can take points away, you know. Do you have a tailor?
Well... I don't have a tailor.
No, you don't have. Well, he's admitted he doesn't have a tailor.
So it is
Deviation.
Yeah, deviation. So, Giles, you have a correct challenge. You have the Devil's Advocate.
So I'm being punished for not having a tailor.
In just a minute, you're not being punished, just being penalised, that's
OK.
all.
That's a difference I can appreciate.
24 seconds available if you want it. The devil's advocate, Gyles, starting now.
Advocatus diaboli is what the term is correctly termed as in Latin, because it dates from about 1587, when Pope Sixtus IV, contradiction in terms with the...
No, it's Pope Fortus VI. How are you on old popes? Are you all right with old popes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you were there when the first one was crowned.
He's absolutely wicked, isn't he? And you laugh.
The laugh of recognition.
I think you were bluffing them.
No, I wasn't. Absolutely. I know about this. I made a nice film for the One Show about it recently, the origin of the word devil's advocate.
No, but that Pope business...
Oh, no, it's unusual, isn't it? Because he was called Pope Sixtus, but he was the fourth Pope Sixtus.
Does anybody in the audience know whether that's true or not?
Forgive me. Alexa, am I right about this?
For that last humorous remark, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And so you keep the subject, and there are 13 seconds still available. The devil's advocate, Gyles, starting now.
The idea is that if you are to canonize somebody and make them a saint, you will present a devil's advocate to put the other side of the argument. So when we consider Mary Berry, we have to regard the fact that she's encouraged us to eat all this sugar.
So Giles Brandreth was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point, and he's taken the lead, just 2 ahead of Paul Merton and Jenny Eclair. Fern is bringing up the rear magnificently. And it's your turn to begin, Fern.
Yes.
The subject, a lovely one, the Eiffel Tower. Tell us something about the Eiffel Tower in this game, starting now.
The Eiffel Tower was built around 1857 by a man called Gustave Eiffel, and it was one of the tallest buildings in the world. What's going on? What?
I'm so sorry. I mean, I want you to do well, but this is Radio 4. The licence fee is under threat. And to have so many errors on the radio within such a short space of time...
But with confidence.
I mean, no, 1857 is nowhere near 1897. Gustave Eiffel was the name of the engineer, not the name of the builder or indeed the architect. It was the tallest building in the world, not one of the tallest. All in 3 sentences. I'm so sorry, but it was deviation. That's all.
Nicholas, may Gyles have a round called splitting hairs?
I think nature's already got there before you.
And also, all 3 of you have been telling lies throughout all your stories, so let me tell some of mine with confidence. Strong and
Giles, what you actually said was correct. So, to be fair, within the rules of just a minute, I should give you a bonus point for that, but I leave the subject with Fern, but do watch it for accuracy. There are still 50 seconds available on the Eiffel Tower, starting now.
In 1930, it was no longer the tallest building in the world. I've repeated that now. He's shaking his hand at me. I'm going, because I've just... I mean, how can you get on with this game? And you're waving, going...
I wasn't buzzing. I was applauding.
Giles was making faces, but Paul actually challenged. Paul.
No, and that's fair enough, because I repeated
you
that.
did say that you had repeated the tallest building in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
No,
why
and
made
I
the
had,
face,
and I...
because it was a self-confessed error, and I was in agony for you.
Do you know,
So, Paul, your challenge was?
So much fun.
Well, a repetition.
A repetition, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So,
It was a truthful repetition.
Are you going to point for... I don't know where the hell we are, I really don't. And that man claps. Thank you very much. Give him a bonus point. Oh, they will all have bonus points. So, Paul, you get the point there. 44 seconds still available. The Eiffel Tower starting now.
I took my tailor on holiday to Paris. The 2 of us looked up at the Eiffel Tower and he said to me in a very broad Geordie accent, "Well, that's what I call a tower, no mistake." And I realised then that me and him were bound to become lovers. As we walked along the Seine, him on one bank, my on the other, our hands stretching across the river, I thought to myself, here is somebody I can spend the rest of my life with. As he measured my cuffs...
Fern challenge.
I would say you're deviating now. You're talking about romance and not the tower.
Oh.
Yes. The tower cast a shadow, but I didn't make it strong enough.
I think that's a very true challenge, Fern.
Thank you.
So we get you a point for that.
Change.
And you take the subject back.
Although I feel that the concept of me having a tailor has now been accepted.
Yes. There's no question about that.
19 seconds, Fern. The Eiffel Tower starting now.
The weight of paint on the tower Eiffel is the weight... Oh, bugger!
Your challenge was?
Repetition of weight.
Yeah, that's right, weigh.
Do you know I've done question time a couple of times? It's not as vicious as this. This is, honestly, I can't believe it.
As long as you enjoy it and relax, we'll all have fun. So, Jenny, a correct challenge. A point to you. The Eiffel Tower, 13 seconds still available, starting now.
My favourite Eiffel Tower story involves a fellow by the name of Count Victor Lustig, a con artist from America who sold the Eiffel Tower, having told a load of blokes that...
So, Jenny Eclair was speaking as the whistle went, has moved forward. She's in second place, 1 point behind Gyles, 1 point ahead of Paul, and 2 or 3 ahead of Fern, Britton. And Gyles, we're both for you to begin. The subject now, Julie Andrews. Tell us something about that, an incredible performer, starting now.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I am in seventh heaven with this subject. Julie Andrews rivals the Duchess of Cornwall as somebody for whom I really do have the hots. This glorious artiste all my life. Even as I was being born, she as a 13-year-old was appearing in the Royal Variety performance. On she went to star on the radio with Archie Andrews in the Wireless program where she was a little girl and delightful. Then she went to Broadway to appear in Sandy Wilson's glorious musical, The Boyfriend. During this time, she auditioned for My Fair Lady, an adaptation of Pygmalion, the drama by George Bernard Shaw, turned into a show by Fritz Lowe and Alan J. Lerner. Success was supreme. Rex Harrison even liked her, and she could have danced all night and has done so ever since in my...
That doesn't often happen. We've got very close to it in this show. Giles Brandreth went for a full 60 seconds without hesitation, repetition or deviation and without being challenged. And he gets a point for speaking when the whistle went and a bonus point for not being challenged. And he's increased his lead at the end of the round. And we are actually moving into the final round. Let me give you the situation as we do so. Fern Britton, who hasn't played the game as often as others. No, she is in a very strong fourth place.
Thank you.
Which is only 1 point behind Paul Merton. Oh, yes. And he's only 1 point behind Jenny Eclair. And she's 2 or 3 points behind Giles Brandreth, who's in the lead as we move into the final round. And Paul Merton, it's your turn to begin. And the subject, a lovely one, chocolates. Tell us something about chocolates in this game, starting now.
Well, Christmas was a long time ago now, but chocolates are a favourite present that people give to each other. I was particularly pleased with a selection box that was awarded to me by my wife. Let me take you through the ingredients and, indeed, the contents. Liver, bacon, sausage, chicken, turkey, a dog's dinner chocolate box indeed it was. And I remember saying to her, there's something about the delicious darkness and sweetness of...
Giles challenge.
I decided to avoid the deviation of those absurd flavours. But I noticed a repetition of the word box. He had a box of chocolates given earlier, and then he went through the box.
Giles, you get a point because you were you challenged correctly, and you have 35 seconds on chocolates starting now.
In my supreme fantasy, Julie Andrews puts down the pizza, puts on her onesie.
Puts and puts.
Yeah.
Puts.
Yeah.
Repetition of puts, Jenny.
Yes.
Another point to you, of course. And you've got him with 28 seconds to go. chocolates starting now.
Weirdly, I don't even like chocolates. I'm one of those freaky middle-aged women who can't be cheered up with a box of chocolates in the 70s. Do you remember they were delivered by a man in black who'd creep through your bedroom window? Like, that wasn't weird and freaky and very scary indeed. Other ways chocolates are delivered are via hand, the old man made.
Oh, Gyles challenge.
Delivered.
Oh, yes.
Delivered.
Delivered first by the man and then delivered.
I'm so sorry.
Well listened, Gyles. Well listened indeed. And you've got him with 5 seconds to go. He's not popular with this audience. Because you're already in a strong lead, but...
Perhaps you can tell us about his hairdresser. Who charges a search fee.
You take it in good heart, Gyles. You've got in with 5 seconds to go on chocolates starting now.
The chocolate bar of my childhood was the Aero. That and the Rolo.
So, Gyles Brandreth brings the show to a close with a flourish, and I will give you the final score. Fern Britton, who hasn't played so often, finished in a very fine 4th place, but she was only 2 points behind Paul Merton, and he was only 1 point behind Jenny Eclair, and he was a number of points behind the man who has excelled this week. So, Gyles Brandreth, you are our winner this week. So it only remains for me to say thank you to these 4 fine players of the game, Paul Merton, Jenny Eclair, Fern Britton and Gyles Brandreth. I thank Hayley Sterling, who's helped me with the score. She's blown her whistle with great style when the 60 seconds elapsed. And we're indebted to the producer of the show, Matt Strong. We're deeply indebted to Ian Messiter, who created this amazing game. And we're really indebted to this lovely audience here. From them, from me, Nicholas Parsons, and our team, thank you. And tune in when we play Just a Minute. Welcome to Just a Minute. Oh, thank you. Hello, my name is Nicholas Parsons. And as the minute waltz fades away, once more it's my huge pleasure to welcome our many listeners, not only in this country, but around the world. And also to welcome to the programme 4 talented performers who are going to show their skill with words and language as they try and speak on a subject that I give them, and they try and do that without hesitation, repetition, or deviation. And they are, seated on my right, Paul Merton and Josie Lawrence, and seated on my left, Zoe Lyons and Lee Mack. Please welcome all 4 of them. Beside me sits Hayley Sterling, who's going to help me keep the score, and she will blow the whistle when the 60 seconds have elapsed. And we begin the show this week with Zoe Lyons. Zoe, the subject I have in front of me is Off the Beaten Track. Tell us something about that subject in this game, starting now.
Whenever you go travelling, it's always wise to get off the beaten track, unless, of course, you're on a trekking holiday, when it is not the done thing, because you might end up in the wilderness away from everything and not know where you are. So I advise people in a city or an environment where there are things to explore out with the beaten track to go there and find restaurants that they wouldn't ordinarily see. Eat the food the locals eat. See the...
Lee Mack has.
I mean, I was trying to ignore it, but those 2 eats were very close together.
They were very close together.
It doesn't matter how close they are or how separated.
Yeah.
She did repeat it.
She
I
did,
did
Nicholas.
repeat
So
it.
you get a point for a correct challenge, Lee.
Thank you.
And you take over the subject. 35 seconds are available if you need it. Off the beaten track, starting now.
Sometimes in life, I sometimes think that
Oh, Zoe challenge.
There were 2 sometimes. I mean, they were closer than my eats.
That's true, isn't it?
There was barely a whisper between
I may as well
them
have just said sometimes.
Zoe, correct challenge. And there are still 31 seconds off the beaten track, starting now.
Whenever I go for a walk, I like to go off the beaten track, because you never quite know what you're going to see. It doesn't need to be somewhere abroad or something foreign, even in your...
Who challenged?
Sorry,
Zoe.
I was holding my thumb too tight.
Yes, because you said somewhere and something.
Yeah.
You heard the some and you pressed.
Yeah.
Right. So an incorrect challenge, Zoe. You've still got the subject. And another point, of course. And you have 22 seconds off the beaten track, starting now.
Even in my own hometown, I will sometimes take a different route.
Paul, you challenge first.
Hesitation, sadly.
There was a hesitation.
It was a mild
Paul.
breakdown, I think, Paul. That's what happened there. It was...
Paul, the correct challenge. Off the beaten track as a subject. 16 seconds are still available, starting now.
As I crossed the Sahara Desert with Nicholas Parsons as my travelling companion, we realised soon that we were off the beaten track. Cannibalism was our only option. So I looked towards him, I saw the upper flesh of his arm, and I thought to myself, I'm going to bite into that and I don't care who knows it.
Saved by the whistle. Paul, you were speaking as the whistle went. You gained that extra point. You're equal with Zoe Lyons in the lead, one ahead of Lee Mack. And Lee, it's your turn to begin, or we'd like you to take the next round. The Northern Lights. Tell us something about those in this game, starting now.
The Northern Lights, of course, are the Aurora Borealis, but not the ones on the Golden Mile at Blackpool, which I would prefer to talk about because I know more about that than the previous one that I mentioned. But I'll do my best. What makes it so green? Magnetic fields and plasma, at a guess, and possibly some magic and something to do with the Jolly Green Giant.
Zoe, you challenge first.
There were two greens.
Too much
Two
green,
greens.
yes. So, Zoe, you got in first. A repetition, another point, 36 seconds. The Northern Lights starting now.
I was lucky enough to witness the Northern Lights in northern Alaska back in 2016. It was an incredible experience. Up a snowy hill in all of my gear, all done up against the cold. It was an amazing aurora that exposed itself in the sky above us. And we stood there, glistening in the icy air, experiencing this ethereal.
The audience were laughing there as much as Zoe's facial reactions as she tried to struggle to get another word for ethereal. But, Paul, you got in first with a challenge. What is it?
Hesitation, sadly.
Yes, it was hesitation. The Northern Lights with you, Paul. You have 9 seconds if you need it, starting now.
In 1985, I was doing a gig in Aberdeen with an act called Mark My Words, and at the end of that show, we looked at the Northern Lights, which was the best part of the evening, to be precise, as they...
So Paul Merton was then speaking as the whistle went. He gained that extra point for doing so. He's taken the lead, one ahead of Zoe Lyons and then Lee Mack. And Josie, it's your turn to begin now.
Oh, is it?
The subject is my worst job. Can you tell us something about that in this game, starting now?
Well, my worst job, I don't want to talk about it, so I'll tell you about my worst job. It was a part-time job. In the 80s, I was starting off as an actress, and there are many times when you're in between jobs. I was a waitress sometimes, I helped at corporate events, but one day a friend of mine said, would you like to help? There's a bloke who wants us to do some publicity for him. And I thought, oh, some kind of PR work, maybe sorting out TV interviews or newspaper things. And so I went with him to this tiny little office in this awful area of London. And the man behind the desk said, here's your paste, here's your posters, and there's a moped on the road for you. I found myself on this dreadful rusty machine, scooting along towards Hammersmith flyover with my bucket full of glue and those...
So Josie Lawrence, worst job, kept her going for the full 60 seconds. She gets a point for speaking when the whistle went and gets a no bonus point for not being interrupted. And she's still in third place. But well done, Josie, well done. Paul Merton, your turn to begin. The subject is going to the fair. 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
There are some fair rides I don't like because I suffer from vertigo, but undoubtedly the ghost train is my favourite. I used to love this as a kid. The little train...
Zoe, challenge first.
Two trains very close to each other, which is unusual in this country.
Yes. Yes, but one of them was a ghost.
So, Zoe, a correct challenge, a point, of course, for that. And you have 50 seconds if you need it. Going to the fair, starting now.
I remember going to the fair as a child, and I used to get my dad to try and win me a goldfish on the coconut thing. He sometimes did, which made it a problem because I couldn't actually have a pet at home. So we had a sup.
Oh. Lee, you challenged.
Bit of hesitation.
There was a
There was
massive
definite
hesitation.
hesitation.
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
I was going to say fish supper, but that's inappropriate in veganary anyway. It's really not appropriate.
So, Lee, you had a correct challenge. You have 39 seconds if you need it. Going to the fair, starting now.
My favourite thing about going to the fair as a child was the candy floss stall, and it was fantastic. Unfortunately, my mother did have pink hair, and it caused all sorts of mishaps when I was licking, and sometimes I'd be actually using my tongue on the top of her head instead of eating the nourishment of the sugary snack. Father would say to me, "Don't lick your mother's head, you weirdo," and I would say, "You can't talk to me like that. You're not my real dad, you're called Steve." And I used to get really angry. And then I was taken back to the place where I had to live away from my parents, and it was quite traumatic. And I'm actually...
Have we moved away from going to the fair? As traumatic
Sometimes
as
it just
it is.
comes out.
Yeah, it all started at the fair, but I think he did move a bit far away from it, Paul, yeah. And you've got in 6 seconds to go. Deviation, obviously.
There was a bigger R than the fact that I was taken away from my parents. Weird, wasn't it?
No.
Not very sympathetic. We'll use that one.
Give him a bigger one. Go on. There you are.
Thank you. My traumatic childhood seems all right now.
And he's upset. Give him a point as well, because he's only... But, Paul, you have a point for a correct challenge, and you have 6 seconds to go. Going to the fair, starting now.
The roller coaster, up and down, around and round.
Oh
no!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Zoe.
I did. It was a round and round, wasn't it?
Yes, around and round.
I thought he said round, and actually what Paul said was around and... Actually, now I'm not even sure.
If he said round and round, that's repetition.
No, he said around.
He said around.
I knew it was a risky strategy. I just...
So, Paul, an incorrect challenge, because you did say round and around.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
That's it.
Paul, there's still 2 seconds to go. Going to the fair, starting now.
The phantom carriage came towards me.
So Paul Merton was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. You've increased your lead over the other 3 at the end of the round. Zoe Lyons, we're with you to begin now. And the subject is Walt Disney. Tell us something about that amazing man in this game, starting now.
Walt Disney was, of course, a very famous animator and creator of cartoons. I think his most famous piece of work was Minnie Mouse. And...
Paul challenge.
Mickey Mouse is probably more famous than Minnie Mouse.
The most famous wasn't Minnie Mouse.
Oh...
Yeah, but we're living in a very modern society, Paul.
Yeah. Hashtag Minnie Mouse too. No, it's equal rights now for rodents within the cartoon.
So he
Can I just put on
Mouse.
record that I think both the male and the female mouse had equal billing, and I think they were both fantastic. Thank you very much. Good night.
Mickey Mouse was his creation.
Mickey Mouse was the creation, but he'd have been nothing without Minnie. But he did create Minnie.
He did create Minnie, but
And I
Mickey
think
was
she's
his
the greatest
most,
one.
That
And,
was
you
his
know, I
first
think that's just a
creation and
matter
his
of
most
opinion.
famous one.
Yeah.
So, Paul, a correct challenge. 50 seconds are available. Tell us something about Walt Disney, starting now.
When he produced Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it was the world's first full-length animated feature, something that most people didn't think would be possible, that you could tell a story with these cartoon figures that could last more than an hour and a half. Now, if we think of the names of these diminutive people, we have Sneezy, Dopey, Nicholas Parsons, Doc, and many others. Of course, unfortunately, our chairman was cut out of the final movie because there were originally 8. And it's a shame, because this would have been his international debut on the Hollywood stage. At that point, he was sitting over there and he was saying to himself, do you know what? I can't say Nicholas Parsons again, but I want to. I want to.
I can't give you a bonus point for outrageousness, but Josie, you challenge first.
Yes, the repetition of you.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Well,
wonderful.
some people say you can't have too much of me, but...
Exactly.
Right, so Josie, a correct challenge. 16 seconds, Walt Disney, starting now.
What's wonderful about Walt Disney is, of course, he's given us Disney World. And I took my family there once. It is such an amazing place. You have Minnie and Mickey and Pluto and Donald Duck all coming to greet you. It's like being...
So Josie was speaking as the whistle went. Gained that extra point for doing so. She's moved forward. She's equal in second place with Zoe Lyons and then Lee Mack. And just ahead is Paul Merton. Lee, we're back with you to begin. The subject, a champagne breakfast, starting now.
Champagne breakfast, just those words sound so exotic and posh and luxurious. But when you say something like, I can't leave the house without 3 bottles of white lining cider, it suddenly sounds very much like you need help. What is it about champagne breakfast that sounds so glamorous?
Josie, challenge.
Repetition of sounds.
Yes.
Did I say sounds twice?
3 times.
Why didn't you get me on the second one then?
I like you too much.
But not enough for 3?
No.
Not the first person to say that to me.
Josie, a correct challenge. A champagne breakfast is with you, and there are 42 seconds available, starting now.
So I'm lying in a 4-poster bed, crisp white sheets. I can see the... Sorry, I was thinking of something, so...
That's a mistake in this show.
Oh, it was a good memory. Anyway, it's made me go all red.
You're blushing at the thought of what actually happened.
Yes.
How exciting. Can you tell us now?
No. Did you pop the cork yourself?
There was a lot of repetition.
Was there any deviation?
And no hesitation.
No. Right.
And it took just a minute.
I think they all deserve bonus points, but we'll leave it at that. Say, Paul, you challenged first, didn't you?
Yes, it was a hesitation, Sam.
Yeah, and there are 35 seconds available still. A champagne breakfast starting now.
As I eased the cork away from the bottle and watched the bubbles bubbling up, I poured it into the glasses. I handed her one and I kept the other glass for myself. And then I started to drink the amber liquid. It tickled the back of my throat and I looked at her and I realised something. We were both drunk. It was only 8:30 in the morning. The hotel had brought us the champagne. Knock at the door. The waiter had it on a silver platter and I took it in my hands and I said to myself, and I then turned to her, I said, this will be a morning you shall never forget.
Zoe, challenge.
There was a repetition of said.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Right,
she did, yes. What a pity, because it was getting so exciting, wasn't it?
Oh.
But Zoe, you've cleverly got in with 1 second to go. And the subject is a champagne breakfast, starting now.
Champagne for everyone, I shouted.
So Zoe Lyons, speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. She's now just ahead of Josie Lyons. She's 2 or 3 ahead of Lee Mack, and they're all training Paul Merton, who's in the lead. And Josie Lyons, it's your turn to begin. My choice of coffee. Oh. Gosh, there's so many, but tell us what you think and like, starting now.
Well, as Nicholas said, there is such a choice now. It makes me very anxious because I feel ashamed to say that my choice of coffee is instant. I particularly like, I don't know if I can say it because it's advertising it, but I love the Loch Ness cafe type thing that you have. If you take the lock off, that's my favourite.
Paul, challenge.
Repetition of lock.
No, because one's Loch Ness and one's Loch.
Is Loch Ness one word?
It isn't, is it?
So, Paul, a correct challenge. My choice of coffee, Paul, starting now.
Well, when I was younger, my mother used to make coffee the Irish way, which tended to be sort of make it with milk, and then you would... Have I said make twice? No, 3 times, I said it.
Lee, challenge.
Well, you have now.
Yeah.
So, Lee, we give you the subject. 30 seconds. Another point, of course, my choice of coffee starting now.
I love vanilla-flavoured coffee, and I also like the hazelnut variety. I'm also a big fan of the cappuccino, and that's why I invested recently in a milk frother. I do chocolate sprinkles, and I'm even sad enough to say I've got the little template that makes a heart, and I take it up to my wife and apologise for all the things I've done over the last 20 years. Sometimes it comes with a wafer, and sometimes I dip it... Is it sometimes again?
Yeah.
What is it about sometimes? I must do things more often.
Right, Paul. What was your
A
challenge?
repetition of sometimes.
Yes, 8 seconds with you, Paul. My choice of coffee starting now.
Cappuccino is absolutely superb. I love the steaminess of it. And then the bitter of the drink. I take it into my mouth.
Paul Merton, speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point and has increased his lead at the end of the round. And Paul will with you begin the next round. And the subject now is cling film. Tell us. There's nothing funny about it.
No, as I shall demonstrate.
Anyway, cling film's the subject, Paul. 60 seconds starting now.
I don't know anything about it.
Josie, you challenge first.
Yes, hesitation.
Hesitation, yes. So there are 58 seconds for you, Josie. Cling film starting now.
I lived in an organised squat in the 80s for a while, and full of artists. And we used to have parties every night. And on one occasion, we had a fancy dress do. And this lad called Tom got some cling film and went as the inside-out man. He covered his body in cling film, and in his stomach area, he put baked beans. In his long bit.
In his long bit?
Well, I was going to say area, and I couldn't. In his long bit.
Paul, you've challenged.
Hesitation.
Yes, there was a hesitation there. And this is a boring subject, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Nicholas. I thought the inside-out man was very clever.
Yeah, it was very
And it's
clever.
a true story. They're
Yeah.
all faggins
Darling,
in his
I
long bit.
thought what you did with it was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I've just said it was a boring subject.
Yeah.
The subject can be boring, but you can be brilliant with a boring subject. Cling film, Paul, 32 seconds, starting now.
I don't know anything about cling film.
Josie, you've got it back again.
Hesitation.
Yes, indeed. Another point to you. 30 seconds, Josie. Cling film, starting now.
My pal, who was trying to lose a bit of weight, said she'd gone on YouTube and she'd seen this woman talk about how you can get rid of those unwanted pounds by using cling film. But you needed a friend to help you do it because you had to pull.
Lee challenge.
Friend repetition?
Yes, you went on a friend. Went to
Oh,
a
right,
friend.
yeah.
Yes, you started off by saying about a friend. Well, listen, Lee. 15 seconds. Can you tell us something about cling film, starting now?
One of the greatest practical jokes in the world is to stretch the cling film over the toilet, put the lid back down and watch people wee on it, and then it goes all over their feet. And there's another version to that story which I can't tell, but it's...
So Lee Mack, speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. He's now equal with Zoe Lyons and Josie Lawrence. In second place, they're trailing Paul Merton. And Zoe, it's your turn to begin. Table Mountain. 60 seconds if you need it, starting now.
Table Mountain, of course, sits majestically behind the beautiful South African city of Cape Town. It is called Table Mountain because it has a very, very flat top, and you can play ping. I said very, very, didn't I?
Very, yes.
Very, very. 2 seconds
Paul, you
in,
challenge
Zoe.
first.
Ridiculous.
A repetition of very, very.
Yes.
It was very, very.
And 50 seconds, very repetition. Table Mountains with you, Paul. 50 seconds, starting now.
Well, as Zoe said, Table Mountain is in Cape Town in South Africa, very near Chore Valley, and it's a magnificent structure when you look at it, because it's not really at all any kind of sort of structural thing to it. It was created by
Zoe challenge.
I think there was 2 structures.
structure and structural.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Got overexcited. I want my table back.
Oh, what a pity. Right. An incorrect challenge, so Paul, another point, 39 seconds available. Table Mountain, starting now.
I'm not very good with heights, so I've never been up to the top of Table Mountain. There is a cable car that takes you all the way, which I suppose is useful because there's no point in stopping halfway there. And when you get up to the top of Table Mountain, I believe there is a magnificent, there must be a view from up there that you can see all kinds of parts of Cape Town when you look down on that magnificent city. Although, when I believe that one person went up there and they saw for the first time the most extraordinary sight. As they gazed towards the sea and they saw the light glimmering off the azure blue, they realised that Table Mountain was giving them something in their soul which they'd never contemplated before. It was almost as if God was opening up his arms and saying, "Look, here I am."
So Paul Merton speaking, and the whistle went, gained that extra point, and he has surged forward. He's in a strong lead ahead of the other three. Lee Mack, it's your turn to begin, and the subject now is horse riding. Tell us something about the subject in this game, starting now.
It is a genuine true story that in 1985 my first job was as a stable boy at the Red Rums stables, but I wasn't able to ride, so I used to take the horses out around the streets as a walk. And one day, it is absolutely gospel that this horse got a little bit aroused, and I don't know if you've seen a horse aroused, but I promise you it ended up taking the wing mirror off a Ford Anglia.
You'd love to see the insurance claim for that, wouldn't you?
Josie, you challenged before the payoff.
Repetition of arouse.
Yes. Josie, a correct challenge. 38 seconds are still available. Tell us something about horse riding, starting now.
I absolutely adore horses, but I always think, since reading Gulliver's Travels, that I was too far down in the chain for them. There was something very wise about them. So it was only when I got to Cuba and I was on the Magotti Mountains, which are very like the Table Mountain, that...
Lee challenge.
Well, I was going to say mountains, but it was a mountain and a mountains, wasn't there?
Yes, it was,
You very cleverly sucked me into your little world.
I didn't know.
You did that deliberately, didn't you?
Yeah.
You got me, well done. Thank you, Carol.
An incorrect challenge. Thank you, Lee, for that. I don't know what you were talking about there. Josie, an incorrect challenge? It's another point to you. 20 seconds available. Horse riding, starting now.
My guide said, "Would you like to go on the horse?" I said, "I've never been on a horse," but he put me on it, and off we went up the mountain.
Paul challenge.
Hesitation in the middle of mountain.
Yeah, I know I was saying mountain again.
Yes, well done, Paul. 11 seconds available. Horse riding, Paul, starting now.
As I looked into the eyes of the steed, I realised there was something between us that could never be explained in sheer words. It was Nicholas Parsons in horse form. He'd been reincarnated. I knew it was him because he was wearing a cravat.
Paul Merton speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. And we're moving into the final round. Zoe Lyons and Lee Mack are equal in third place, just behind Josie Lawrence, who is a few points behind our leader, Paul Merton. And Josie, it is your turn to begin. And the subject, paranormal activity. That's a tough subject to talk about, isn't it? Starting now.
Well, there was one previous programme of Just a Minute where I told people about a scent that suddenly would appear in my house. So I am a believer in paranormal activity. But one thing I always find strange when you watch TV programmes that are all about hauntings is they almost invariably do it in the dark. Does that mean that these phantoms only come out at night? Do they look during the day and think, "Oh no, it's a bit bright, I'll wrap myself up in ectoplasm and hide under the floorboard until Yvette comes out and gets me blah, 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 blah."
Lee, you challenge first.
Yes, a bit of hesitation there, I thought. Still a little bit.
Yes. So, Lee, you have the subject, and there are 20 seconds still available. Can you tell us something about paranormal activity starting now?
I don't believe in ghosts and never have done, but what I like to do is to go round to Josie Lawrence's house and hide in the wardrobe and come out, but never during the day. It's far too bright. She never turns the lights off, but at night I will really spook by putting a sheet over my head. But people believe any old nonsense nowadays, don't they? There's definitely no such thing as ghosts.
Zoe challenge.
Do ghosts? I don't believe in ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts.
I don't believe in ghosts.
But they very much have come back to haunt you here.
Zoe, you've got in with 3 seconds to go. A point, of course. Paranormal activity starting now.
I once went to a haunted castle in Ireland, which was supposed
So let me give you the final score. Oh, it's all very close. Josie Lawrence, Lee Mack and Zoe Lyons are all equal in second place. Yes. And they've all trailed Paul Merton, who got a lot of points in this show. So we say, Paul, you are our winner this week. It only remains for me to say thank you to these fine players of the game, Paul Merton, Josie, Lawrence, Lee, Mack, and Zoe Lyons. I thank Hayley Sterling, who's helped me with the score, blown her whistle so delicately. We're indebted to our producer, Matt Strong, and we're deeply indebted to the creator of this amazing game, Ian Messiter, and we're indebted to this lovely audience here. From our audience, from me, Nicholas Parsons, and the team, goodbye, thank you, and tune in again when we take to the air and we play Just a Minute! Welcome to Just a Minute. Thank you. Hello, my name is Nicholas Parsons, and as the minute waltz fades away, once more it's my huge pleasure to welcome our many listeners, not only in this country, but around the world. And also to welcome to the programme 4 exciting, talented performers who are going to show their skill with words and language as they speak on a subject that I give them, and they try and do that without hesitation, repetition or deviation. And they are, seated on my right, Paul Merton and Jenny Eclair, and seated on my left, Fern, Britton and Gyles Brandreth. Please welcome all 4 of them. Beside me, Hayley Sterling, who's going to help me with the score, run the stopwatch for me, and blow a whistle when the 60 seconds have elapsed. And we begin the show this week with Gyles Brandreth. Gyles, lost in translation. That is the subject. Quite an erudite one, but I'm sure you can go on it with confidence starting now.
Lost in Translation is the name of a movie, but it's also a phrase that I first heard when I was at prep school, given to me by my Latin master shortly before his arrest, when he said to me, "In loco parentis, Brandreth, what does that mean?" And I said, "I think you translate it as, my dad's an engine driver." He told me, "Something has got lost in translation, boy," and then proceeded to give me 6 of the best, which turned out to be half a dozen of the worst, and was one of the reasons for his subsequent incarceration in the local prison. Now, lost in translation now refers to how I feel when watching the television with the subtitles up. I recently...
Paul challenged.
Well, by Giles's high standards, that was a hesitation.
It was by his high standards, yes. And Paul challenged Gyles, and it was a correct challenge, so he gets a point for that. And there are 18 seconds still available for you, Paul. Lost in Translation, starting now.
When I went to see the film Lost in Translation, it was its opening weekend, and it was billed very much as a comedy. And I thought at the time it wasn't particularly funny. But then afterwards, it turned out that people were seeing it more as a romantic drama. So this is often how cinematic experiences can be misleading, because the publicity tells you one...
In this game, whoever is speaking when the whistle goes gains an extra point. It was Paul Merton on this occasion, so at the end of the round, he's not only in the lead, he's the only one to have scored. Fern, Britton, we'd like you to begin the next round. Oh, what a lovely subject. Venice. Tell us something about that beautiful city in this game, starting now.
I witnessed a death in Venice some years ago. I went out to dinner with my husband and we were sitting in a restaurant. There was one room and then a secondary room.
Oh, I resent myself. I hate myself. I want to know the murder story. Did you kill him? It was room and room.
So you
Yes, I understand, of course.
Why did I do it?
I don't know, Jenny. Perhaps you're keen to win.
You know me so well.
Right, Jenny, you have a correct challenge.
No, Jenny is fine. I was remembering it all and it was terrifying, but maybe I'll let you know later.
I don't know what you're talking about, Fern.
The death
The
in
death
Venice.
in Venice.
Oh, the death in Venice.
Yes.
What with, what's his name, the actor?
No, this was a real one.
Oh. Oh, well, we must get back to you, mustn't we? Jenny, correct challenge. You have 49 seconds available. Venice, starting now.
Venice is the only thing that never lets you down. Every time I go, I think this is a fairy tale. Do it properly, get a water taxi, drop yourself off at the Peggy Guggenheim, have a Bellini in Harry's bar, a coffee in that coffee opera. Yes. Can Fern have it back? I want to know about the death in Venice.
Well, I'm afraid Paul challenged first.
Yes, I'm sorry I'm not Fern challenging. I don't know what came over me.
The rules of just a minute. Paul, you challenge first. A correct challenge. A point to you. Venice is with you. 32 seconds available, starting now.
So I was sitting in this restaurant with my husband when I suddenly noticed that the diner next to me was having a very difficult feat of choking over their spaghetti. So I called over the head waiter and he said, "Excuse me, madam, can I help you?" I said, "Yes, my name's Fern Britton, and I'm a bit worried."
Fern, you challenged.
Did it not happen like that?
No, it didn't. It didn't happen like that. I know this is neither truth or fact, but no, you're not a madam. You're not called Fern Britton, and that's not what he said.
Deviation.
So deviation.
Yeah, deviation.
So Fern, well listened. Point to you. 21 seconds available, Fern. Venice, starting now.
There was a kerfuffle, and my husband and I looked over. Yes, husband.
Paul challenged.
It was my second husband.
Second
though.
husband. You shouldn't have gone back to that restaurant again.
I tell you what, Fern, you haven't played the game as much as the others.
You're all so kind.
We won't charge any points on that. We had to give one to Paul because it was a correct challenge, haven't we?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, that's right. We'll leave it with you, Fern. Venice, 16 seconds, starting now.
A man was under the table. Many waiters were surrounding him. The man... Yeah, no, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. Was that you again? You.
Previously, Paul, you had a correct challenge, and there are still 11 seconds on this subject. And it's still Venice, starting now.
Death in Venice, starring Dirk Bogan. What's the problem?
Gyles challenge.
The problem is earlier, it has confused you. Paul has confused you by identifying himself as Fern earlier. And therefore, when I challenged, you assume it was Paul dressed as Fern. It's all to do with your Fern.
What are you talking about, Gyles?
I did challenge as well.
Oh, did you? I'm so sorry.
Paul's light came up first on my little machine here.
Oh, fine.
So he was the first to challenge.
But that was the confusion over this side.
So have you got a
Nothing useful to say at all.
Well, then Paul gets another point.
Of course he does. Richly deserved.
Does anybody remember how this show used to work?
Right, Paul, there are still 6 seconds available for you, and we got another point, of course. Venice, starting now.
As I stood on one of those famous bridges looking at the celebrated landscape, I realised deep in my heart that I'm always...
So Paul Merton was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. He has leapt forward. Jenny's got 1, Fern's got 1, Gyles is yet to score. It's... Ooh, yeah, it'll all change soon.
I'm just showing it can be done.
Jenny, it's your turn to begin. The subject is superfoods. Tell us something about this subject in this game, starting now.
The trouble with superfoods is they change all the time. 1 minute, it's goji berries, next, kale, which used to be pig swill. The selenium thing is contained in an almond, at least that's what I recall, which stops dementia. May have got the wrong nut. I haven't eaten enough of them, obviously. Omega-3 in salmon. Of course, the original superfood was spinach. Eat great bags of the stuff and turn yourself into Popeye. Personally, I think a superfood is anything that makes you feel super. Like if you've got a hangover and you find that grilled sausage underneath the grill and it's a surprise.
No, I withdraw. That was
I think you probably thought I said grill twice, but I said grill and grilled.
Yes, you did. In fact, I buzzed merely to congratulate you on that perfect playing of the game.
Jenny, you've got another point.
Go.
You've got 13 seconds. Superfoods starting now.
Baked beans, aren't they marvellous? Eggs as well. You've got everything inside a shell. Get it boiled.
Paul challenge.
Well, there's not everything inside an egg.
No.
No. You haven't got the Taj Mahal. You haven't got Sir Alex Ferguson, ex-manager of Manchester United. Those are just two of the things I can think of that aren't inside an egg.
If it was an ovary egg, you'd have a tiny child in it, maybe. That's quite...
I don't know where we're going with this. Paul, benefit of the doubt, a correct challenge. 6 seconds available still. Superfoods starting now.
Superman walks into a delicatessen. He says to the man behind the counter, "I would like to have a packet of those mung beans."
So Paul Merton, speaking as a whistle went, gained that extra point and has increased his lead at the end of the round. And Paul, it's your turn to begin. And the subject is James Bond. Tell us something about that iconic figure and character in this game, starting now.
My favourite James Bond film is perhaps the first, Dr. No, where Sean Connery plays the suave, sophisticated, cold-blooded killer. This is before the funny quips crept into the movies, and he's a very believable character because he is handsome and sultry, but also ruthless. He makes love to this beautiful woman and then shoots her dead the following morning. It's a gripping kind of story that hadn't been seen in cinema before, where the hero was very much a kind of anti-hero, which is a hyphenated phrase.
So what a pity. So he
gets another point, Nicholas.
I know he does. And there are 31 seconds still available, Paul. James Bond starting now.
There are many other stories in the canon, from Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I could list them very longly, but that would be very bad.
Challenge.
Very longly.
Very longly.
Yes.
It's a safari park.
Deviation from facts. And Gyles, you've got in, having got another point. Not another point, you've got your first point, actually.
The first of many.
22 seconds available, Gyles, starting now.
When, as a young actor, I aspired to the role of James Bond, my good friend, the late Sir Roger Moore, told me that he would teach me everything he knew. He said it's all a matter of raising your eyebrows. Left one up, and then the right should go as well.
Paul Challenge.
Well, hesitation.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Are you emulating his acting style, were you?
He was teaching on an hesitation, but didn't quite achieve it.
Sure.
So he gets a point for an incorrect challenge. He still has 6 seconds, Gyles. James Bond starting now.
No doubt at all that my other favourite was George Lazenby, a model who had appeared advertising chocolate.
So Gyles Brandreth was then speaking as a whistle went, gained that extra point. And Gyles, we're back with you to begin. The subject is man flu. It's quite an entertaining subject. Tell us something about it, Gyles, in this game, starting now.
The world has become a cruel place for us men. We are now a beleaguered breed. Man flu, that's what I'm told I have when I'm nearly at death's door. Wheezing, spluttering, the eyes streaming, the nostrils with mucus all over my sore upper lip. Man flu, she says contemptuously, throwing some Calpol, suitable normally for the grandchildren, my way. Man flu, when one is actually suffering terribly. Poor men nowadays are obliged to be...
Jenny Chan.
Men and men.
You talked about men
Yes,
before.
exactly. You see, they're all ganging up on it.
No, they're playing the game correctly. That was a correct challenge, Jenny. 27 seconds are still available. Tell us something about man flu, starting now.
The opposite of man flu is woman flu, when the female of the species will have a temperature of 3.5 billion, and yet...
Paul Challenge.
Deviation from the subject of man flu.
Oh, that's
talking about woman flu now, so...
Yeah. Well, I don't think she went long enough to establish it.
No, you're quite right.
So we give her the benefit of the doubt. And if I can redress the balance later, Paul, I will. Because she only went for a second or two. There's still 18 seconds available for you, Jenny, on man flu, starting now.
Man flu, of course, is when a chap has a tiny sniffle and he malingers in bed where...
Gyles,
This is typical abuse. I'm so sorry. The time has come for us to stand up, Nicholas. I mean, no, honestly, it's just awful. The whole thing, life is so humiliating now.
If there are any victims in this country, it must be the white middle-class male.
It is. We are, honestly, it's just too much. I held the door open earlier for your wife. She hit me across the face and told me not to patronise
My wife would never hit you across the face, Giles. She loves you very much.
Well, it was a bit of a game, I agree.
Yeah.
Can't say that nowadays either. I do apologise. I spend the whole day on Twitter apologising for what I've just sent out on Twitter. The whole thing is a nightmare.
And so what is your challenge within the rules of just a minute? None. Giles, I'm going to give you a bonus point because we enjoyed what you said. But that's from the generosity of my heart.
I will shut up.
But you did interrupt. Jenny was speaking, wasn't she?
Yes, it
And
was.
there are still 10 seconds, Jenny, for you on man flu starting now.
There he is, hogging the duvet, demanding that you put Vicks vapor rub on the soles of his feet and fix him a hot toddy, when in actual fact...
So Jenny Eclair speaking as a whistle when gained that extra point, and she's now moved forward. She's still behind Paul Merton, but she's 2 ahead of Gyles Brandreth and Fern Britton. And Fern, we're with you to begin. The subject, karaoke. Tell us something about that strange activity in this game, starting now.
I don't understand karaoke. I think it's one of the worst hobbies anyone could ever have. You stand in a club, look at some screen with words dancing around on it, and you have to sing along to something you simply don't know, clearly as I'm discussing it. And I had once a karaoke machine given to me for Christmas, and I loaded it with lots of CDs, and we sang some terrible songs very badly, and quickly it was sent to the charity shop. I don't know why people would like to spend an evening singing karaoke, or indeed listening to it. It is dreadful. People think they can sing, but they're caterwauling. I know I'm rabbiting, and they're all being very quiet at the moment because they're hoping I might get to 60 seconds. I'm not sure that's true, but if you had 60 seconds of me singing... Well done, well done, well done.
Well done. Yes, you went for 52 seconds. Well, as she hasn't played the game very much before, let's give a bonus point for 52 seconds.
Thanks.
But Paul challenged you with 8 seconds to go. What
Yes, unfortunately, repetition of 60 seconds.
Yes, yeah, and that's fair enough, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's correct, actually. Isn't it? So, Paul, another point to you. 8 seconds available. Karaoke starting now.
Karaoke was the sister of Annie Oakey, known as the sharpest shooter in the Wild West. And the thing about karaoke is she was a wonderful...
So Paul Merton, speaking as the whistle went, again that extra point has increased his lead at the end of the round. And Jenny Eclair, we're with you to begin the next round. Greasy Spoon Cafe. 60 seconds if you need it, starting now.
I love a proper greasy spoon. I want a plate piled with fried eggs, baked beans all slopping together, sausages, fried bread. That's the ticket.
Giles' challenge.
Repetition of fried.
Yeah, there's a bit too much frying there,
Amateur,
Jenny.
amateur.
So Giles, another point. You've got him with 48 seconds to go on a Greasy Spoon Cafe, starting now.
Outside the Palace Theatre in Southend, where I shall shortly be appearing, there is a beautiful Greasy Spoon Cafe where they serve you the full English breakfast.
Why will you be appearing outside the theatre? Have you got a job as a busker?
I'll be standing by my hat, waiting for people to throw in their coins.
Logically, it's a very good challenge, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I will be appearing outside it to promote it, to hand out the leaflets, you know.
I know what you meant, that you would be appearing inside, but you didn't actually
no,
say that.
what I was meaning...
Yes.
I didn't say this, and maybe when we play it back, because obviously I will be doing later... I think I was saying I was outside the Palace Theatre, and outside the Palace Theatre is this Greasy Spoon Cafe.
Yes.
I think that's what I probably said.
In that case,
You said you were appearing
outside.
No, you...
Well, yes, appearing, comma, outside.
Outside the South End Theatre where I will surely be appearing.
There's a lady on the front row who knows.
Theatre, there I am appearing.
Ah, thank you. This is why women are right about man flu. They understand. They have an instinctive understanding of what men are trying to say and do.
So a bonus point to that lady in the front row there. And for benefit of the doubt to you, and you take the subject, because you challenge first, and there are 42 seconds available. A Greasy Spoon Cafe starting now.
I rendezvoused with Nicholas Parsons outside the Greasy Spoon Cafe, Cairo. Our mission was to go into the Valley of Kings, to search through the pyramids, to find the remains, if we could, of Tutankhamun's brother, Tutinbek. And as we wandered through, we suddenly realised that the Egyptian sun was pounding on our brow. We hadn't brought any provisions with us. Cannibalism was in our minds. As we looked at each other, he took a bite out of my left leg, and I reciprocated. Soon there was nothing left apart from our teeth munching at each other's earlobes. It was the most extraordinary evil sight. A documentary was made about it for ITV by Alan Wicker. And...
Jenny, you've challenged.
Deviation from the subject,
Yes.
Greasy Spoon.
Oh, yeah. Well, his ear tasted a bit like a greasy spoon. Other than that, absolutely deviation.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, yeah, well, thanks for interrupting it.
Jenny, you got him with 5 seconds to go. You get another point, of course. A Greasy Spoon Cafe starting now.
Follow a fat builder because they know where the best greasy spoons in town are.
So, Jenny Eclair was speaking as the whistle went. Gained that extra point. Has moved forward. She's still in second place, but she's just behind Paul Merton, ahead of Gyles, Brandreth and Fern Britton in that order. And Paul Merton, we're back with you to begin. The subject, the Emperor's new clothes, starting now.
Well, it's a story about an emperor had some new clothes, and there's a boy in the crowd that points out, in fact, he isn't wearing any clothes at all. And despite the fact that the emperor's advisors have said, "Oh, Emperor, you look marvellous in your new clothes," he wasn't wearing anything at all. And this small child, amongst the assembled throng, was able to point out his deficiencies. Now, I was once thinking of getting myself a tailor, so I decided to go to Savile Row. And I said, "Can you recommend anything that I could possibly wear?" And I showed them a picture of Nicholas Parsons. They said, this is the very epitome of elegance.
Gyles Brandreth challenge.
We've gone so far from the Emperor in his new clothes.
I don't know.
Yes, we have. I'm sorry, Nicholas, we have. We're
You
now in
mentioned,
Savile Row.
me, and I thought that was quite close.
Clothes, I'm
Yes.
talking about clothes.
You are a prince, Nicholas, but you're not an emperor. You would not.
You're working hard for your bonus point, aren't you?
It's the Emperor's new clothes is the subject.
Yes,
it's not going
I'm quite happy to say it was deviation.
Well done, Paul. You're very generous.
Yes.
A point to Gyles. The subject, the Emperor's new clothes with you, Gyles. 31 seconds available, starting now.
As I am devoted to the works of Hans Christian Andersen, I do know that the Emperor's new clothes does not involve him being actually naked, as was implied by Paul. There was underpinnings, garments below what would be called the new clothes in the story. And intriguingly, when the great Danish writer was at the printer, that was when he had the wonderful idea of making the child, the boy in the crowd, call out, "He is wearing no garments at all." And thus is the origin of...
Gyles Brandreth, displaying his knowledge and erudition there, kept going till the whistle went, gained that extra point. He has moved forward. He's still in third place, but he's moved, right. And we're into the final round. I'll give you the score as we move into the final round, yes. Fern Britton, who hasn't played the game as much as the others, but she's been wonderful so far. And
How many points have I actually got?
well,
I know
just-
I'm last.
Just accept the fact that you're in a very strong fourth place.
All right.
And you're trailing Gyles Brandreth by about 5 points. And he's 1 point behind Jenny Eclair. And Jenny's about 3 or 4 points behind Paul Merton, who's still in the lead. And Gyles Brandreth, it's your turn to begin. And the subject now is board games. Tell us something about board games in this show starting now.
Some people are indeed bored when playing board games, but I am not one of them. I am devoted to board games that go back 1,000 years and more. The ancient Egyptians, Chinese, Africans all played board games, but the one that gets me going is invented in the 1930s, Monopoly. My dear late...
Paul challenge.
One that gets me going is invented in the 1930s.
The historic present. Using the historic present is much appreciated on Radio 4. Indeed, there was a lovely programme with Stephen Fry and Michael Rosen the other afternoon on Radio 4 talking about the value of the historic present and how we need to hear it more regularly used. I mean, it's only part of the mission to explain something which I know you and Lord Reith discussed when devising the programme initially.
Gyles, you're the greatest verbaliser I know. And it's a very clever way of trying to get out of a situation.
I concede. I'm never going to catch up, so I concede. No, but I'm happy to concede.
The way you were going on, no one would have thought that. Paul, I give you the benefit of the doubt. And another point to Paul, and 39 seconds available. Board games starting now.
I used to play Cluedo when I was a young boy against my sister, but I found it a rather boring game, so I would cheat. I'd play the game for a certain amount of time and then come up with the killer because I'd looked at the card earlier. She didn't really mind because she was younger than me and she enjoyed it. Reverend Green with a candlestick in the library was the usual culprit, and I thought to myself, there must be a better board game than this. Chess is an extremely difficult game to play. I'm intrigued by it, of course.
Jenny Chan.
Game and game. In the title, it's board games.
The board games is a subject, and you use the word game.
Sure.
Well listened, Jenny. And you've got him with 15 seconds to go. Board games starting now.
Picture the scene, Christmas 2018. It is the day before, and my sister calls up from Wales.
Fern challenge.
No board games being mentioned in that.
I'm about to say...
But a beautiful use of the historic present.
The board games are coming because the Wi-Fi is broken.
I tell you what I'm going to do now. The points I give are not going to make any difference to the final score. And so we give Fern a point because we enjoyed the challenge. And Gyles a point because he's a pedant on language. Another point for Gyles. And what about Jenny? Won't make any difference to the final score. Jenny a point because she was interrupted. Right. And so everybody's got a point except Paul, but he's in the lead, so he couldn't care less. So 7 seconds available, Jenny, starting now.
Sarah says there's no Wi-Fi. Bring all the board games you can. Fortunately, I'd bought my nephew a bingo game about royalty.
That was to be the last round. Let me give you the final score. Fern Britton, who did so well, but still finished in 4th place. But she hasn't had the same practice as the others. And she was quite a few points behind Gyles Brandreth, who was 2 or 3 points behind Jenny Eclair. And Jenny was 3 or 4 points behind Paul Merton. So we say, Paul, you are the winner this week. We do hope you have enjoyed this edition of Just a Minute. Remains me to say once more, thank you to these 4 fine, exciting, erudite players of the game, Paul Merton, Jenny Eclair, Fern Britton, and Gyles Brandreth. I thank Hayley Sterling, who's helped me with the score. She's blown her whistle with great style when the 60 seconds elapsed. We're thankful to our producer, Matt Strong. We're deeply indebted to Ian Messiter, who created this amazing game. So from our audience here in the Radio Theatre, from me, Nicholas Parsons, and the team, goodbye, thank you, and tune in when we play Just a Minute!